First Florida man, Ando de Soto. First Florida man, Hernando de Soto. Won't you solo go show off your photos, throw out your Twinkies, throw up your ho-hos, tuck in them pinkies, them shits a no-no. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Brought to my attention by the man with the mojo, my 8th subscriber, I'm a bagoso. Jump in them sinkies and dump them mimosos. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend. I would like to say welcome, everybody, but also, Vicky, you're telling me it's 7:33 when I checked my computer saying exactly 7:30, and then I'm like, okay, maybe my computer's wrong. So I checked my watch and my phone, and I was exactly on time. So I think you might need to check your clock. That's all. I wasn't late. I was not late. I hit the buttons when it was still 7:30. Within the minute of 7:30, I promise I did. I promise. Anyway, so we've been talking about Bryan Kohberger for a while now, since the crime happened. I want to say since like the weekend after that crime happened, like almost immediately, been talking about this case. And it has come to a conclusion. And I was going to, we covered it when he pled guilty, and I was going to just leave it at that. And then I listened to some of these victim impact statements, and one of them was so good that I decided we needed a third episode about this a-hole, Bryan Kohberger, because the sister of one of these young college students gives him, just the tongue lashing. She digs down into his psyche and rips it apart. So well spoken, so eloquent that I think we need to show it here. And I pulled up some other victim impact statements as well. There's 2 of them. There were 6 roommates in that house, and 2 of them did not get hurt that night, and they made victim impact statements too. So we're going to listen to those. I have a couple of the dad's victim impact statements pulled up, and then of course the one from the sister, because it is good. We'll save that for the end. She's the one who's in the thumbnail staring him down. I was trying to figure out in Canva how to do like the laser eyes, but every time I tried to do it, it looked pretty janky, so I just took that out. But if anybody can do that to that thumbnail, I will repost it and credit you for doing the laser eyes on her, just tearing holes through him. It's really good. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So welcome, everybody. The dogs are here today. We have Ava, we have Zena. Hey, Zena, look alive. This is your job, ma'am. This is your job. If anybody supports the show in any way while we're live, I refilled the mini milk bone bowl, and they will get mini milk bones on demand. We'll start them off with a couple just to get their attention so they know what's coming. You ready? Can you catch this? Oh, and she missed it. Ava, get up there. Ava got Zena, so she's not getting another one right now, but look at that face. How could you resist? Look right here. Stare deep into their eyes, right here. Stare into their eyes. Anyway, yeah, they're here. Let's get into this. Oh, well, before we do, we got to pass out more milk bones. Chuck, member for 2 months. Thank you so much for renewing your membership. I appreciate that. Here you go. Don't drop it this time. Your sister steals your treats. She did drop it, but at least David didn't steal it from her. Are you making a pillow fort back there? I think she is. Zena's making a pillow fort tonight. So that's what's happening on the show. Thank you so much, Chuck, for renewing your membership. I appreciate it. Ava appreciates it. And Zena, for sure, back there in her pillow fort, appreciates it. All right, let me press the button. So this first one is this is Bethany Funk. She was in the house, and actually this is not she has somebody reading a statement for her, which I totally understand. I know I wouldn't. I'm a crier, so I don't think I would be able to get up and make a statement if I was there and he's there, and, I might have to write a statement and have somebody read it for me as well. I had to do that at my dad's funeral. Somebody wrote something that I read because there is no way I could get up at my dad's funeral and say something. I could barely breathe, for goodness sake. There's no way that was happening. So I totally understand her doing this, but it's very powerful. Let's listen. Wait, I I just assume everybody knows what I know. Do you guys know who Bryan Kohberger is? He's the one I should do. I meant to do this. This is the Idaho college kids that were murdered. 4 young people, three young girls, and one of their boyfriends were murdered in Idaho. I believe it was in November of 2022. 23. Dang. I should have made notes. I should have pulled up my notes. I have notes. Anyway, and they caught him. He left his DNA at the scene on the um, button of he had a sheath from a K-bar and he left his DNA there. They caught him. They matched the DNA to him. He ended up pleading guilty. This is the victim impact statements.
I'll be speaking on behalf of Bethany, and so, yeah, here it reads. My name is Bethany Funk, and I was roommates with Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. I not only lost some of my best friends, but I also lost a sister. Never in a million years would I have thought that something like this would have happened to my closest friends. I thought that we were going to wake up and go upstairs, see them and tell them how they had scared us and that they were going to tease us about how we are constantly scaredy cats. I make jokes about it as we would go to Taco Bell like always. But sadly, that is not what happened and what turned out to be my worst nightmare. When I first woke up that morning, I had no idea what happened. I woke up around 7 with a terrible toothache. So I called my dad, who is a dentist, and he asked what I should do. He told me to take Advil, so I did, and I went back to sleep. I was still out of it and still didn't know what happened. If I had known, I of course would have called 911 right away. I still carry so much guilt for not knowing what had happened and not calling right away, even though I understand it wouldn't have changed anything, not even if the paramedics had been right outside the door. I was so frantic that morning and scared to death, not knowing what had happened. And when I made the 911 call, I couldn't even get out the words. And from then on, I don't remember a thing. It was like my brain wiped that whole memory. That was the worst day of my life. And I know it always will be. While I was still in shock, trying to process the fact that my friends were truly gone, I had been attacked by the public. I was grieving, numb, and unsure of what had happened was even real. And at the same time, I was getting flooded with death threats and hateful messages from people who did not know me at all or know the dynamic of our friendship.
By the way, that is horrible that happened to these survivors, which is what they are. They are survivors. These 2 girls could have very easily been killed. And the fact that people were upset with them because they didn't call 911 sooner or they didn't do whatever they thought that they should have done in that moment really pisses me off, because it makes everybody look bad. It makes the society at large look like a bunch of a-holes. And for the most part, I believe that most people are good. Most people are good people trying to do the right thing. And I might be delusional. Who knows? I hope I'm not. I really hope I'm not. But when you write messages, emails, social media messages to victims of crime, calling them out for something you don't know anything about, you're the asshole.
Media made it so much worse, and strangers made up stories to entertain themselves. The media harassed not just me, but also my family. People showed up at our house. They called my phone, my parents' phones, other family members' phones, and we were chased while I was still trying to survive emotionally and grieve the loss of my friends. I hated and still hate that they are gone, but for some reason, I am still here and I got to live. I still think about this every day. Why me? Why did I get to live and not them? For the longest time, I could not even look at their families without feeling sick with guilt. I did not know what to say or what to do. I was terrified that my presence just made their pain worse, and I was still here when their kid, their siblings and their friends, their loved ones should have been here instead.
Cellulite Yoga Pants says this girl saw someone, but she did not know who it was. Not a friend or something, but basically this house was the party house, so there were strangers in there all the time. So she cracked open her door, saw Bryan Kohberger walk towards, like, leaving, going towards the sliding glass door in the kitchen, and she just closed the door and went back to bed. And that's why people were harassing her. They're like, well, why didn't you call 911 right away? You could have saved your friends. Well, as she said, and as everybody said, it wouldn't have mattered. They were already gone. Even if 911, even if the paramedics were there when it happened, they couldn't have saved them. So that doesn't matter. And also, she didn't know what was going on. It was in the middle of the night. She heard something, wasn't sure what it was, looked out, and then saw somebody leaving. And she had there were 6 roommates. So people had people there all the time. My heart breaks for these girls.
After everything happened, I was afraid to go into my own backyard or alone in my house. I was scared that the person who did this would come for me next. I was always scared that the media would try to catch me at any moment of any day, even when I was just walking around my house. I made my parents close all the blinds during the day so no one could see me even in the slightest chance. I barely left the house, and when I did, I made sure I was never alone. I slept in my parents' room for almost a year. I made them double lock every door, set an alarm, and still check everywhere in the room just in case someone was hiding. And I still check my room every night before, and I double lock it. I have not slept through a single night since this happened. I constantly wake up in panics, terrified. Someone is breaking in, or someone is here to hurt me, or I'm about to lose someone else that I love. The fear never really leaves. For a long time, I could barely get out of bed, but one day I realized I have to live for them. They did not get the chance to keep living, but I do, and I will not take that for granted. So now every day I remind myself to live for them, and everything I do it with them in mind. I am still scared to go out in public, but I force myself to do things because I know that they would want me to keep living my life to the fullest. I am beyond blessed to still be here, and I refuse to take that for granted when they did not get a chance. Our house was not just a house, it was a home. It was where we laughed till we couldn't breathe, make meals, did crafts, binge watch reality shows, played games, and spent lazy days on the couch. It was movie nights, wine nights, morning debriefs, pranks, hot chocolate, cookies, and warmth. I will cherish those memories forever, and I will not let what happened erase how special our home was or how much those memories meant to me. Now I would like to share some bits and pieces of who they were as people and some of the memories that we shared. One of my favorite memories was Halloween, and we all went to Sigma Chi. But instead of partying, we just sat in an apartment, talking and laughing all night long. I do not think I've ever laughed that hard in my life. We did not care about the party, we were just happy to be with each other. Xana was 1 in a million. She was the life of the party.
Oh, this is tough to get through. I know this kind of content is not for everybody, so if you're just popping in to say hi, and I understand if you don't want to sit here with us. I get it. I will be back with booze and body cams probably sooner than Wednesday, actually. Might be tomorrow. Hi, Shane. Good to see you. these first few are going to be heartbreaking, but I'm telling you what, when we get to the Kaylee Gonsalves, her sister, uh, she gives it to this guy, and it's worth the watch. So bear with me while we get through these other ones, and then we'll get to her because, man, it's good.
But she was also the kindest and funniest person I knew. Everyone loved her because she made everyone feel so loved. She was just someone you always wanted to be around, no matter the circumstance. One of my favorite days with Xana was when she laid on the couch. When we laid on the couch together all day, watching movies and snacking. Or when Maddie, and I would go and get margaritas, chips, and salsa. She would also light up a room with her presence alone. Kaylee had the most beautiful, radiant smile. And she was so kind, but also one of the funniest people I've ever known. She loved playing little pranks. And she always had us laughing so hard that we could not breathe. She was so full of energy and life. I really believe that she could have ruled the world if she wanted to, and she would have been America's sweetheart. Ethan was the sweetest, most genuine guy. He was always smiling and always making other people smile too. Ethan was the kind of person you wanted around. He was so kind and easy to talk to, and just so fun. And the way he cared for Xana was truly something to admire. And really was proof that storybook love and true romances really do exist. It was not only obvious to me, but everyone that was around Ethan and Xana.
I don't understand how these people in the courtroom are just not all weeping uncontrollably right now. I could not. I watched this already once today, and I'm having trouble keeping it together. And the reason I want to watch this is because I think it's important that we remember the victims in this. It's so often, especially on any true crime or YouTube or anything like that, where people just forget that these are real people. These are real lives that are affected by these things. This isn't a crime novel where it's just all made up. These are actual people, and who better to tell us about these people than the ones who actually knew them and loved them?
They were absolute soulmates. Maddie was not only one of my best friends, but she was the older sister I would have always wanted. There was no one I looked up to or admired more than Maddie. She was truly a ray of sunshine, and everyone was drawn to her. She was so kind, loving, funny, fun, and passionate. She had the sweetest soul and wanted nothing but the best for everyone, and to love and show love to everyone. She took me under her wing and always made me feel so safe and included, and above all, loved and valued. She never failed to make me laugh or put a smile on my face. Still to this day, I am beyond grateful that she chose me to be her sorority little, and I thank God every day that I not only got to know her, but had her as one of my best friends. Honestly, I cannot pinpoint one favorite memory with Maddie because I have so many, and this would be a very long read if I did. But if some little memories with her that I cherish is when the two of us made a nice dinner and split some wine, or when we would binge watch Jersey Shore or Summer House. When we came up with a whole dance routine on Halloween and danced and sang all night, like no one was watching. All the late night walks home from going out, and just little shopping trips and so much more. I am beyond blessed that I had the chance to know each and every one of them. They changed my life in ways I would have never put into words. I hope that they know who they are, not what happened to them, because who they are were so beautiful, and they deserve to be remembered in the highest way. My heart breaks every time I go to text one of them or how badly I wish I could see and hang out with them. And then I remember I cannot. I will never be able to again. But I still talk to them in my prayers every single night, and I always will. I wish more than anything I could hug them one last time. And I wish I could tell them how much I love them. And even though I cannot, I still tell them every night. I will keep living for them as long as I am lucky enough to still be here. And they were all truly one of a kind. And they will be in our hearts forever and always.
Thank you. And please convey.
Mama says that somebody was saying, I think it was Shane, that how did these people just stare blankly while this stuff is being read? First of all, this guy's a psychopath. That's how he can do it. Mama said she thinks they give him some sort of drugs. I don't think they have to with this one. I think he just has literal no feelings. This is why he was studying criminology, to try to figure himself out, in my opinion. I think that's why he was getting his master's in some sort of criminology degree, because he wanted to know why he was the way he was. If you remember, he had a questionnaire that he was doing his thesis or something, and he was interviewing criminals and asking them questions like, how did you feel when this was happening? Did you do anything before you left the residence? And this will come back when we hear Kaylee's sister's statements, because she asks him the same questions during her statement, and the way she does it is spectacular. So I don't think he needed drugs was the point I was trying to make there. This one is difficult too, but it's shorter than the last one. This one, this is Dylan. She was also in the house. She's not the one that saw the guy, though. Well, is she? I'm getting the two survivors confused in my head. Maybe it was Dylan. Maybe it was. Well, let's listen to her statement. But she actually gives the statement herself. One of them peeked out of the room and actually saw him that night.
Next is Dylan Mortensen. We're asking for some accommodations for Miss Mortensen, and that she be allowed to sit in my seat.
Sure. Dylan, just take your time, all right?
This is how this would be me. Like this, like not being able to hold it together. This would be me. I would hope, and I've never been in this situation. So like people have said in the chat, you don't know unless you've been there. I would hope I would try to give a statement, or do my impact statement myself, but I don't know if I'd be able to. I don't know.
Sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. What happened that night changed everything. Because of him, 4 beautiful, genuine, compassionate people were taken from this world for no reason. He didn't just take their lives. He took the light they carried into every room. He took away how they made everyone feel safe, loved, and full of joy. He took away the ability for me to tell them that I love them and that I'm so proud of them. He took away who they were becoming and the futures they were going to have. He took away birthdays.
Thank goodness. I think we need a puppy break. Thank you, Charmed Lives. Hello to you too. Hello to the doggies. We will get some love from the doggies right now, because this is tough to get through without them. Thank you. Here, we'll come over and give them treats. Here's one for you. Are you on? There you go. There you go. Thank you so much. We needed a little bit of love from the puppies right now. I need to be over there just snuggling with them on the Xenocam while we listen to this.
Graduations, celebrations, And all the memories that we were supposed to make, all of it is gone. And all the people who loved them are just left to carry that weight forever. He didn't just take them from the world, he took them from me, my friends, my people who felt like my home, the people I looked up to and adored more than anyone. He took away my ability to trust the world around me. What he did shattered me in places I didn't know could break. I was barely 19 when he did this. We had just celebrated my birthday at the end of September. I should have been figuring out who I was. I should have been having the college experience and starting to establish my future. Instead, I was forced to learn how to survive the unimaginable. I couldn't be alone. I had to sleep in my mom's bed because I was too terrified to close my eyes. Terrified that if I blinked, someone might be there. I made escape plans everywhere I went. If something happens, how do I get out? What can I use to defend myself? Who can help? And then there are the panic attacks. The kind that slam into me like a tsunami out of nowhere. I can't breathe. I can't think. I can't stop shaking. All I can do is scream because the emotional pain and the grief is too much to handle. My chest feels like it's caving in. Sometimes I drop to the floor with my heart racing, convinced something is very wrong. It's far beyond anxiety. It's my body reliving everything over and over again.
What he's not reacting because he's enjoying this. He's enjoying that what he did was able to affect this person. He feels powerful in this moment with her giving this kind of grief to him. He feels powerful. That's why he's just staring straight ahead. In my opinion, I didn't go to psychiatry school or anything like that. But I have looked at a lot of these cases with psychopaths like this, and I know they feed off of this kind of energy.
My nervous system never got the message that it is over, and it won't let me forget what he did to them. People call me strong. They say I'm a survivor, but they don't see what my new reality looks like. They don't see the panic attacks, the hypervigilance, the exhaustion, the way I scan every room I enter, the way I flinch at sudden sounds. They don't know how heavy it is to carry so much pain and still be expected to keep going, and that's because of him. He stole parts of me I may never get back. He took the version of me who didn't constantly ask, what if it happens again? What if next time I don't survive? He may have shattered parts of me, but I'm still putting myself back together. Piece by piece, I'm learning how to live in this new version of life. It is not easy. It hurts, but I'm still trying. Still trying, and I'm not trying just for me. I'm trying for them, my friends. About a year ago, I had a dream about them. I got to say goodbye. I told them I won't be able to see you again, so I need to tell you goodbye. They all kept asking why, and all I could say was, I can't tell you, but I have to. When I woke up, I felt shattered and heartbroken, but also strangely grateful. Like maybe in some way that dream gave us the goodbye we never got. Still, no dream can replace them, and no goodbye will ever feel finished. He is a hollow vessel, something less than human. A body without empathy, without remorse. He chose destruction. He chose evil. He feels nothing. He tried to take everything from me. My friends, my safety, my identity, my future. He took their lives, but I will continue trying to be like them to make them proud. Living is how I honor them. Speaking today is to help me find some sort of justice for them. And I will never let him take that from me. He may have taken so much from me, but he will never get to take my voice. He will never take the memories I had with them. He will never erase the love we shared, the laughs we had, or the way they made me feel seen and whole. Those things are mine. They are sacred, and he will never touch them. I get to feel sadness. I get to feel rage. I get to feel joy even when it's hard. I get to feel love even when it hurts. I get to live. And while I will still live with this pain, at least I get to live my life. He will stay here, empty, forgotten, and powerless.
Dylan, thank you so much for your courage. I appreciate it.
Whew. She's a strong girl. I don't think I would have been at 19 years old. I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it. I just really don't. This is Kaylee's dad. Dad, excuse me. Oh my gosh. Get the tissue out. Seriously. I usually have the tissue over here. I moved it to my desk because I knew I was going to need it. But yeah, the victims need to be remembered and hearing, like, we need to hear from these families, you know?
And our love.
Sorry, let me put it back at the beginning. I didn't rewind it where I was watching it earlier.
Today, we are here to finish what you started. Today, you've lost control. Today, we are here to prove to the world that you picked the wrong families. The wrong state, the wrong police officers, the wrong community. You tried to break our community apart. You tried to plant fear. You tried to divide us. You failed. Instead, your actions have united everyone in their disgust for you. I just learned from these lead investigators, to their shock, they worked in an investigation and actually worked with Pennsylvania police officers and the federal FBI. You united everyone. Everyone was united after you. None of us are divided. We are united in our disgust and our love for these children. Today you have no name. Because when this all started, we all came together and we said, let's stop even talking about his name and just use initials. So even the media just calls you BK. That's all you are. Looking back when the police officers knocked on my door, told me what happened to my child, told me what happened to Maddie Mae, I don't think he was even out of the driveway before my kids turned around and looked at me and said, what do we do, Dad? I told them, you get to work. You get your ass to work. And we started calling, we started texting, we started emailing. And you know what? Within hours, we had your white car on the camera. We knew from the very beginning we had you. Police officers tell us within minutes, they had your DNA, like a calling card. You were that careless, that foolish, that stupid. Master degree, you're a joke, complete joke. But we took this disaster and we did what we could. We put everything online. We took our kids, we took our images, we took everything that they did, their videos, their photos, The girls' pranks, Ethan singing, we put it out there, we shared it with the world. And the world united. And all they ended up, when they talked about this case, is they talked about Kaylee Jade, Maddie Mae, Xana, and Ethan. Everything what these people meant to us, a father, a mother, a brother, a sister, we shared that with our community. Then we shared it with our state. We shared it with the country, and eventually we shared it with the world. The world's watching because of the kids, not because of you. Nobody cares about you. You're not worth the time, the effort to be remembered. In time, you will be nothing but two initials forgotten to the wind. No visitors, nothing more than initials on an otherwise unmarked tombstone. From this moment, we've all started. From this moment, we will forget you. We want to all leave in closing. One last thing. You picked the wrong family, and we're laughing at you on your trip to the pen that will be today or tomorrow. I'll close with, God bless all the men and women that worked on this case and all the hard work that you guys did. You guys allowed us to grieve and allowed us to get through this. The amount of work that you guys put together and the way that you guys put it together was beautiful. There was hard times to be expected, but thank you all. God bless.
Thank you.
That dad was mad. I would be too. I hope he realizes that he will be forgotten for sure. I completely 100% agree with that, Dad, for sure. This is Anna's dad.
I just want to say before I start, I'm Xana's dad, Jeff Kernodle. It's been a hard road down, because she's gone. And I want to thank everybody, other their families that's speaking so far, spoke about things. I agree with everything they have to say. It all comes back to a lot of the same things that I've had to deal with and we as a family have had to deal with. And that brings me, basis of what I'm talking about a little bit is on my way up here, flying up here in the plane, and about halfway through the flight, this little girl is calling out for her dad. Hey, dad, and then in my mind, I was kind of half asleep. It's dark on the plane. I heard Xana calling out for me like she did, back when she was little, 5 years old, and those times were hard. It was chaotic, but we always had something to work toward that was in a positive direction, compared to right now, which is necessarily not as positive as that for sure. And I know I miss Xana a lot. My life's been changed, and Xana had a great impact on me, and the impact was when she was gone. I realized how important she was, and what she really did for me, influenced me, was way beyond what I ever thought. She'd call me up on the weekends, check on me, see who's with me. She's like accountability to your youngest daughter. And that really made a big difference. It made me really think about things and what it's all about, That's the things that I miss the most, is those calls on the weekends, the calls at 11 at night. What's going on? You want to meet my friend? Whoever she's with, a couple of her friends, I meet them, talk to them. And she always did that. And it's pretty cool. I really miss that. And she made a big impact on me, on other people, her family. But the impact that she made is so extensive on what happened here. And it goes so far, people from everywhere in the world, are following things, and Xana has made a difference in their lives. So, countless people told me that. They might not even know her. They never knew anything about her. It's what they see, and they just love her and say how they wish she could have been their friend. Could have been their friend, could have hung out, and it's like, this is a blessing, this is the little kid was, and definitely was a big blessing in my life, and so is Jasmine, and basically, we worked hard to do the things we did, through the times they were growing up, and through those times, I realized that I wanted both of them to graduate college, and that'd be the ultimate thing for them to do to prepare for the world. Then it came back to me, Xana didn't get to finish college. He had it all figured out.
Thank you so much, Chuck. I kind of was falling apart there for a second. I think I got my shit together. But we do need a puppy break for sure. We do. Oh, they're ready for a break too. Thank you so much, Chuck. That's for you. That's for you. What are you guys doing, building a pillow fort? Here you go. I know, sweet girl. Oh, I know, sweet girl. All right. Look at these two big babies over here. Thank you so much, Chuck. I appreciate that. I appreciate anytime you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the super chat or super sticker button. Every little bit helps. I appreciate it. If you think anybody who would like this channel, if you share it, that's great too.
And this all just came back to me when I was there, and that little girl was on the plane doing that. It's like where I was going, what I was going here for. And then I just realized and thought to myself about the wonderful life that she had and we had together. And I still get to have with Jasmine, but that's the part that really counted. It's the part that really counted, is those memories. And those are what I have left, the memories with her and the ones I can make with her and the life that I can go on with now, which is what she wants. And I say that in present tense because that's what she wants, because I've been told that, I've had countless ways that she's out there and has a way to communicate, which I'm very grateful for. That goes to say that the impact of what happened to them, all 4 kids, goes so much further than just not me, the parents, the families, the community. It goes so far because a lot of kids, in the colleges, just for an example, they lock their doors now. The door wasn't locked in the back. At Penn State or wherever it was, all the colleges I know that I've heard, they all lock their doors now. So maybe the impact that it's going to make is going to help out and maybe protect some people. Having this outreach and having the influence of what happened to these kids did, All I know is I was 7 miles away when it happened, and she wasn't feeling that good. It was 11:30. And I almost went over to Susanna's to say, and I would have been sitting right there in that couch, and you had to deal with me. So they would have had a chance. And I regret that, and I regret not going. But the reason why I didn't is because Susanna said, don't be drinking and driving. You got the rental car, don't be drinking and driving, the week before that. So she was she would have been mad at me to do that. But I really wish I would have drunk and drove, you know, because they would have had a chance, all four of them. At this point, I just have to go on. We're gonna go on with everything and make things better in my life, because that's what it's all about. Have closure in things. And the part that we miss is Santa, her influence, her smile, the things that she did. And we have the memories left, the great memories. And she just wants us to make more memories and not be sad or upset or shocked or taken for that, you know? And that's what we're gonna do. We just have to. That's all I got.
Thank you for your words and your courage, and bless your family.
Heartbreaking. All right. This is the sister that I've been talking about since this episode started. She is good. she studied him and knew what words in what order to say to tear him apart. And I saved her for last because it's very good. I don't think if my sister was murdered, I mean, I can't even, I didn't know these people and I can't hold it together. This has got to be one of the strongest women I've ever seen in my life.
Is my sister Kaylee and her best friend Maddie.
Here we go.
Your Honor, next is Steven Gonzalez, Kaylee's brother.
Steven's actually gonna pass. I'm gonna go.
Okay. Olivia Gonzalez, Kaylee's sister.
Hello. I'd like to start by thanking the court for allowing me the time and opportunity to speak today. My name is Olivia, and I'm the big sister of Kaylee Gonzalez, and I was blessed to love Madison Mogan as a sister too. I'm not here today to speak in grief. I'm here to speak in truth. Because the truth is, my sister Kaylee and her best friend Maddie were not yours to take. They were not yours to study, to stalk, or to silence. They were two pieces of a whole, the perfect yin and yang. They are everything that you could never be.
I love the way she's taking them back. He thinks that he owns some part of them now. Some part of these victims he feels like he owns, and she is just taking that back from him immediately. Horseshoes and hand grenades asks why I keep doing this to myself. I'm doing this to myself because we covered this case on 2 separate occasions and we focused on him. And it's not about him. It's about these people who he took from this world, and their families are the best people to tell us who these people were. That's why we're doing this today. She starts off with a bang here. And the fact that she's taking them back, I love that.
Loved, accepted, vibrant, accomplished, brave, and powerful. Because the truth about Kaylee and Maddie is they would have been kind to you. If you had approached them in their everyday lives, they would have given you directions, thanked you for the compliment, or awkwardly giggled to make your own words less uncomfortable for you. In a world that rejected you, they would have shown mercy. Because the truth is, I'm angry. Every day I'm angry. I'm left shouting at the inside of my own head everything I wish I could say to you. The truth about me is when I heard the news, I didn't cry. I listened for them. I promised them I would, that I would fight for them, that I would show up no matter what it cost me. I swore I'd never let them feel alone. Because you see, I've always been their heavyweight. I've always been the one to fight the battles they didn't feel ready to fight themselves. All it ever took was a call, and they knew I would handle it for them, no matter the time, no matter the cost. They could wave their white flag because they knew I would never back down, not for them, and not even death could change that. Somewhere along the line, I started to think about what I would say to them if I was given just one last chance. If I could gather enough heartbreak or love or sacrifice or whatever it took to get just one message across, what would I say? Throughout this entire process, I've written my feelings down at every moment, my wishes, my love, my denial, my anger. And as one final act of love, I'd planned to read these thoughts, even jarring and discombobulating and not even making sense. Because for me, that was true love. As bare and as naked as it could be, not laced in pretty words or dressed for the occasion, but written through bleary eyes at 2 a.m. with clenched fists, angry at this reality. My true final act of love was to continue on without them, for them. That dream to read aloud my love to them, to bring meaning through pain, was the latest blow in.
Okay, I found a different camera angle. So let me see if I can. It's the same camera angle, but it's a close-up. So let me see if I can change it. Hold on. I didn't take into account the camera angles. Let's see where we were in the other video. 3 minutes in. So let's go back a little bit. All right. This might repeat a little bit, but I don't want to miss anything either. So that you can actually see her a little. It's the same. There's only one camera in the court. So, but this is a close-up of that box. So you don't, I kind of want to see his reaction though, too. What do you guys think? Should we see this or, well, let's see this a little bit. We might switch back and forth.
My true final act of love was to continue on without them, for them. That dream to read aloud my love to them, to bring meaning through pain, was the latest blow in realizing you don't deserve it. And Kaylee and Maddie don't need it. Kaylee and Maddie have always known my love, and they would never ask me to prove it by further victimizing myself to a defendant who has shown no guilt, no remorse, no apprehension. They would say to me, "Why would you give the satisfaction of showing vulnerability now? You promised you would never back down." And for that clarity, I'm thankful. I won't stand here and give you what you want. I won't offer you tears resembling disappointments like you thrive on pain, on fear, and on the illusion of power. And I won't feed your beast. Instead, I will call you what you are: sociopath, psychopath, murderer. I will ask the questions that reverberate violently in my own head, so loudly that I can't think straight most any day. Some of these might be familiar, so sit up straight when I talk to you. How was your life?
I love her. I love her. She is awesome. She's so strong, and he has no idea what's about to hit him. She's about to hit him with these questions that he was doing his thesis on, asking other criminals these questions. She's just turning it back on him, shining the spotlight on him, and he does not want this spotlight. He does not want this.
How was your life right before you murdered my sisters? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving your apartment? Please detail what you were thinking and feeling at this time. Why did you choose my sisters? Before making your move, did you approach my sisters? Detail what you were thinking and feeling. Before leaving their home, is there anything else you did? How does it feel to know the only thing you failed more miserably at than being a murderer is trying to be a rapper?
Dang.
Did you recently start shaving or manually pulling out your eyebrows? Why November 13th? Did you truly think your Amazon purchase was untraceable because you used a gift card? How do you find it enjoyable to stargaze with such a severe case of visual snow? Where is the murder weapon? The clothes you wore that night? What did you bring into the house with you? What was the second weapon you used on Kaylee? What were Kaylee's last words? Please describe in detail the level of anxiety you must have felt when you heard the Bearcat pull up to your family home on December 30th, 2022.
Okay, people are saying they want to see his face. We'll switch back to this one. Let me see what we're at. 6 minutes. All right.
Where is the murder weapon? The clothes you wore that night? What did you bring into the house with you? What was the second weapon you used on Kaylee? What were Kaylee's last words? Please describe in detail the level of anxiety you must have felt when you heard the Bearcat pull up to your family home on December 30th, 2022. Which do you regret more? Returning to the crime scene 5 hours later, or never, ever going back to Moscow, not even once, after stalking them there for months? If you were really smart, do you think you'd be here right now? What's it like needing this much attention just to feel real? You're terrified of being...
He literally studied serial killers because he wanted to be a serial killer. He thought he was so smart, and they caught him immediately. He was really bad at it. They caught him immediately.
You're terrified of being ordinary, aren't you?
Hold on, let me go back a little bit.
To feel real. You're terrified of being ordinary, aren't you? Do you feel anything at all? Or are you exactly what you always feared? Nothing. If you're so powerful, then why are you still hiding, defendant? You see, I'm here today as me. But who are you? Let's try to take off your mask and see. You didn't create devastation. You revealed it in yourself. And that darkness you carry, that emptiness, you'll sit with it long after this is over. That is your sentence. And it was written on the wall long before you ever pled guilty. You didn't win. You just exposed yourself as the coward you are. You're a delusional, pathetic, hypochondriac loser who thought you were so much smarter than everybody else. Constantly scolding, turning your nose up to grammar mistakes, nitpicking and criticizing others. You wanted so badly to be
He did that too. He joined online groups, like Facebook groups that were created about this event, and corrected people's grammar inside these Facebook groups to have some sort of control, to have some sort of I'm smarter than you feeling when he did it. I guess that's the type of person he was. Although bad grammar does upset me as well. But I don't generally correct it on people online unless they're a-holes. Then sometimes I will.
You wanted so badly to be different, to be special, to be better, to be deep, to be mysterious. You found yourself thinking you were better than everyone else, and you thought you could figure out the human psyche and see through it, all while tweaked out on heroin. Lurking in the shadows made you feel powerful because no one ever paid you any attention in the light. You thought you were exceptional, all because of a grade on a paper. You thought you were elite because your online IQ test from 2010 told you so.
Oh, it's so pathetic.
All of that effort just
That's
to seem
so pathetic. I'm so glad she's calling out all of these things that are pathetic about this person. Uh, he probably doesn't even realize what a loser he is. I'm so glad somebody has the balls to put him in his place.
All of that effort just to seem important. It's desperate. There is a name for your condition, though. Your inflated ego just didn't allow you to see it. Wannabe. You act like no one could ever understand your mind, but the truth is you're basic. You're a textbook case of insecurity disguised as control. Your pattern.
He was going to go on and do this again, but he got caught because he's bad at it. So yes, this is a mass murderer, but if you don't think he was planning to do this again, if he got away with this, I mean, he obviously would have. He was just testing the waters right now, I believe. I'll tell you one thing. I'm certainly happy he's off the street because I don't trust that he wasn't going to do this again.
But the truth is you're basic. You're a textbook case of insecurity disguised as control. Your patterns are predictable. Your motives are shallow. You are not profound. You're pathetic. You aren't special or deep, not mysterious or exceptional. Don't ever get it twisted again. No one is scared of you today. No one is intimidated by you. No one is impressed by you. No one thinks that you are important. You orchestrated this like you thought you were God. Now look at you, begging a courtroom for scraps. You spent months preparing, and still all it took was my sister in a sheath. You work so hard to seem dangerous, but real control doesn't have to prove itself. The truth is, the scariest part about you is how painfully average you turned out to be. The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty. Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass.
Get him.
Thank you.
Get him. Olivia, you go. Yeah, applause. Applause for Olivia. Oh, that was so good. You see why I saved that one to the end? It's so good. She is amazing. Man, I hope that anybody who has the sad task of having to make a victim impact statement, and I pray that none of you ever have to do this, but take notes of what she did there. It was mastery. It was perfect. I can't think of anything better. And I love her for putting him in his place because somebody needed to put him in his place. And I'm so glad it was her. Yeah, applause all around. All right. We're going to hear what the judge has to say. And then we're actually kind of early. Like, this didn't take as long as I thought it was going to, mainly because I didn't pause as much as I thought I was going to, because I was just weeping the whole time and couldn't get myself together. But I do have some other articles pulled up from this week that I've been putting aside. So we'll get to some of those as well.
By acknowledging and thanking those that have come here today in support of their loved ones. And I appreciate your courage and your strength. And I hope that you are able to move on as best as possible. Thank counsel for the professionalism that they've exhibited throughout this case. It has been my great honor to preside in this case and to help bring
Speaking of Leopold and Loeb, that happened in my hometown. Is that a case that you guys would want me to cover? I totally forgot about that one. That's one of the first like true crime cases I heard of, like when I was a kid, I think. That might be interesting to cover. I think maybe because it's such an old case that maybe some people haven't heard of it. I don't know. But it is milk-bone time. You're right. I almost forgot what time it was, but it is definitely milk-bone time. Thank you very much, Jonathan P. Oh, Kaylee would have kicked your ass. I love her ending. It's so good. That's one for Ava. Xena, how are you? Xena's showing her face today and her butt because I don't know why she does that, but she does. You ready? There you go. Thank you, Jonathan P. I appreciate that.
To the extent possible, some resolution and hopefully justice to this case. During the quiet morning hours of November 13, 2022, a faceless coward breached the tranquility of 6 beautiful young people and senselessly slaughtered them, 4 of them. Who committed this unspeakable evil was unknown for several weeks, but due to the killer's incompetence and outstanding police work by numerous local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, the person that slithered through that sliding glass door at 1122 King Road now stands before the world and this court unmasked. This unfathomable and senseless act of evil has caused immeasurable pain and loss. No parent should ever have to bury their child. This is the greatest tragedy that can be inflicted upon a person. Parents who took their children to college in a truck filled with moving boxes had to bring them home in hearses lined with coffins. The loss this killer inflicted was not just the death of these people's children, siblings, grandchildren, as we've heard today. It has ripped a hole in their soul, destroying a special part of their very essence. Any person who is a parent defines themselves foremost as such. It is their existence and purpose of being. And it has been stolen from these parents. None of us have experienced the loss these victims have in the unspeakable way that they have. And therefore, none of us can, nor should we, question the way in which they have handled their loss. Whether that be in private mourning, removed as far as possible from this media circus, or in front of a camera demanding retribution with the loudest megaphone. I've listened intently to the stories and pain that have been shared today, with great awe at the courage and resilience of the surviving family members of those wonderful children. I've listened also to the surviving roommates, both in person and through their friends. And I can't think of how, frankly, courageous they have been despite the hell that they have faced by uncaring people who have come up with all kinds of crazy theories about 2 kids simply being kids. The parents, siblings, and other family members who have spoken today are designated as victims in our legal system. But going forward, I hope that they can shed that label, as it gives too much power to the evil that condemned them to that role. They are and should be known as survivors, fighters, and foremost as witnesses to the tremendous lives of value and unbounded promise of these 4 young people. But those speaking today and those who did not speak, but who carry the same burden, this same loss, now carry forward the memories of these now perpetually young people, these forever children. These survivors carry the responsibility of ensuring that the voices of these children, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan, are never forgotten, and the positive impacts that they have had on so many lives are never minimized, and that the love they shared, the light that they shined onto others, is forever celebrated. As we sit here today, this case is ending, and we are now certain who committed these unspeakable acts of evil, but we don't know, and what we may never know is why. I share the desire expressed by others to understand the why, but upon reflection, it seems to me, and this is just my own opinion, that by continuing to focus on why, we continue to give Mr. Kohberger relevance. We give him agency and we give him power. The need to know what is inherently not understandable makes us dependent upon the defendant to provide us with a reason, and that gives him the spotlight, the attention, and the power he appears to crave. Yet even if I could force him to speak, which legally I cannot, how could anyone ever be assured that what he speaks is the truth? Do we really believe, after all of this, he's capable of speaking the truth or of giving up something of himself to help the very people whose lives he destroyed?
Very good point, Judge. He's like, you know what? We don't need to know why. We don't need to give you a reduced sentence to find out why. F you. Go rot somewhere.
Rather, I suspect the so-called reason would be dished out in enticing, self-serving, and aggrandizing, untruthful bits, leaving people wanting more information, more insight, and thus enhancing even further the power he seeks to hold. Even if we could get truthful insight into his why, I suspect it would not in any way quench one's thirst for actually understanding why in the first instance. Because there is no reason for these crimes that could approach anything resembling rationality. No conceivable reason could make any sense. And in the end, the more we struggle to seek explanation for the unexplainable, the more we try to extract a reason, the more power and control we give to him. In my view, the time has now come to end Mr. Kohberger's 15 minutes of fame. It's time that he be consigned to the ignominy and isolation of perpetual incarceration. I know there has been concern about him collaborating on books or movies or other media projects, and I truly hope that someone does not stoop to affording him this spotlight that he desires in the name of clicks, royalties, or profits. While criminal behavioralists should study him away from the spotlight in an attempt to prevent other would-be killers from acting on their worst impulses, there should be no need for that to spill over into the public eye. The great Idaho jurist Edward Lodge was known for trying to find something positive about every person he ever sentenced. And with over a half a century as a trial judge, that was a lot of people. This was often challenging, and I recall in one case he said that the best he could come up with was the defendant had good penmanship. Truth be told, I'm unable to come up with anything redeeming about Mr. Kohberger because his grotesque acts of evil have buried and hidden anything that might have been good or intrinsically human about him. His actions have made him the worst of the worst. Even in pleading guilty, he is giving nothing hinting of remorse or redemption.
That is true. Cellulite Yoga Pants says, I thought it was illegal to profit from a crime. That is true. He cannot profit from it, but what he would profit from it, not monetarily, is fame and a sense of being something more than he is. You know, and that's what he wants. He doesn't need money. He's going to spend the rest of his life in a prison somewhere, hopefully in a hole. But I think what the judge is saying, he hopes that some documentary crew doesn't come in to try to interview him like they did with Aileen Wuornos, like they did with there's a lot of them. for clicks and views and stuff like that. The murderer themselves can't profit from it. It doesn't mean somebody else can't. Like, I could call and try to get an interview with this guy. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk to this guy. So um, that's all. I think that's all the judge was saying.
Suggesting even a recognition or understanding, let alone regret for the pain that he has caused. And therefore, I will not attempt to speak about him further, other than to simply sentence him so that he is forever removed from civilized society. And accordingly, based upon his conduct and based upon the record before this...
That is a good question. Horseshoes and hand grenades. And I don't know. I know I covered the whole thing, like all of the evidence they had, the whole thing, when it, like, right after they arrested him, I think. So that would have been December of year before last. So I'll go back and see if I can find it. I'll shoot you a message. I'll put it in the description. If somebody knows and can link it, like what episode that was when I originally covered this, if you could link it in the description, if you know already, that'd be great. But I'm not, I don't know. I stream a few times a week and it's been like a year and a half. So I don't remember exactly what episode it was. I'm sure maybe if you search in my YouTube just his name, it might come up.
Forever removed from civilized society. And accordingly, based upon his conduct and based upon the record before this court, recognizing the standards that govern this court's sentencing decisions as set forth in State v. Toohill, I hereby sentence Mr. Kohberger as follows. On count 1, burglary, 10 years fixed, 0 years indeterminate. I also impose a fine of $50,000. Count 2, first-degree murder of Madison Mogan. I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. On count 3, for first-degree murder of Kaylee Gonsalves, I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the victim of the family, or to the family of the victim, pardon me. On count 4, for the first-degree murder of Xana Kernodle, I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. On count 5, for the first-degree murder of Ethan Chapin, I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. The sentences on counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 shall run consecutively to one another. Restitution will be left open for 60 days. Defendant will be required to submit a DNA sample and a right thumbprint impression to the Department of Corrections and comply with the DNA Database Act. I remand the defendant to the custody of the Idaho State Board of Corrections for to be imprisoned in an appropriate facility in execution of the sentence where he will remain until he dies. Though you have waived your right to appeal, you do have a right to file a notice of appeal, and any such appeal must be filed within 42 days of the date of the written judgment, which will be entered shortly hereafter. Though the appeal, you should be aware, may be deemed a violation of the plea agreement, and so I certainly suggest you discuss that with counsel if that is your desire. I ask the media and public present to allow the families to be escorted out first before they leave. Again, thank you to everyone for your stories today. I am strengthened by them, and I am encouraged by your humanity and strength. And God bless you. We're adjourned.
Wow. That was rough to get through, but I love seeing justice. I personally think appropriate justice would be the death penalty. In cases like this, I 100% believe in the death penalty. And there's a reason for it. First of all, I don't think we need to be paying for this guy to be on vacation for the rest of his life, A. And B, there's always a chance with some legal maneuvers or something like that that he ends up getting out, even though it's life without the possibility of parole. That doesn't mean that whoever's in office in 20 years from now doesn't have some sort of something where they're going to change the rules or change the laws or whatever. You'd never know what's going to happen. So I think it's better if we just get rid of the problem. I don't think he deserves to breathe the same air as other people, even people that are in the prison with him that didn't do something this horrific. That's my opinion. I appreciate everybody else's opinions too. That's just mine. Oh, man. I don't know if there's a way to do that, Yo Mama. I know there's a way to search. Barry says, I love the judge and love the response from the families of the victims. Yes. That one dad, though, obviously all of the victims, the families of victims, I feel horrible for. Everybody who was affected by this, I feel horrible for. But that one dad who was going to go up there because Xana wasn't feeling well and didn't, man, I feel horrible for him. I can't imagine the weight. And obviously it's not his fault. You don't expect this, especially in rural Idaho. You don't expect this monster to be there. Rural Idaho is where people don't lock their doors. Rural Idaho is where you can walk down the street at night and not worry about being attacked. It's not, we're not talking about Chicago or Cincinnati or Atlanta. We're talking about rural Idaho. It changes everything for those people. Even people in that community that did not know personally these people, it affects their lives. It affects the way they continue on day to day. It's crazy. All right, let's get to some other stuff because, man. Yeah, well, and apparently if he does make any money, like doing a prison job or something like that, that's all going to the families, $55,000 to each family. So even if he lives for 100 more years, which would put him at, 28 years old or something like that, 128 years, even if he lives another 100 years, every dime that he makes, it's going to those families. There's no way on prison salaries where they make like 3 cents an hour or something, I don't know, that he would make that much money. So screw him. He doesn't deserve our time. This is the last time we're talking about Bryan Kohberger, unless something crazy happens. At the end there, the judge said that he doesn't have a right to appeal because he pled, but he has a right to still do a file for an appeal or something like that. I don't understand that. So, not sure what that's about. What is this? Let me turn that off and share my screen. All right, moving on. We're not talking about this guy anymore. That's it. He does not deserve our attention. He is nobody. Did you guys see this Netflix docuseries rather, of this family, like these TikTok dancers? I watched it when it first came out, but I did see this news article pop up, so I wanted to talk about it. But it was basically, it was one of these influencer houses, and this girl was recruited, or it's not just one girl, but the documentary was about this one girl was recruited to live in one of these influencer houses and make, TikToks. And it was basically a cult where she couldn't contact her family anymore. It was a whole thing. But apparently that home's been raided. Let's watch.
Breaking news from Tujunga. Federal authorities have served search warrants at a home tied to the Netflix documentary Dancing for the Devil about an alleged cult.
Yes, several people were seen in handcuffs during the operation. KTLA5's Kimberly Chang live now in Tahunga with details on the investigation. Kimberly.
Hi, and just a few moments ago, we saw a caravan of vehicles leaving this property, 10 from what I could count. If you take a look behind me, you can see the gate is knocked down. This is on the 7700 block of McGrory.
Dang, the cops did not wait for them to answer the doorbell, did they? They had a Bearcat and they just went straight through that gate.
Street in Tahunga. It was raided earlier this morning. This is where a search warrant was served. Now, take a look. Sky 5 overhead this morning, and we could see several people apparently being detained on the property. Now, sources confirmed to me that this property is owned by Robert Shin and is the same home featured in a Netflix documentary called Dancing for the Devil. It's also well known among neighbors who told me that more than a year ago, flyers were passed around letting them know about the serious allegations involved and telling them to look up that information. Now, neighbors say early this morning they saw a large law enforcement presence. They say authorities broke through the gate to enter. The FBI, sheriff's personnel were part of this operation. And according to El Monte police, the search warrant was served and involved allegations of tax evasion, sex trafficking, mail fraud, and money laundering. The Postal Service and FBI are leading this investigation. Now, it's not clear if there's a connection, but the home, as I mentioned, was featured in a Netflix documentary called Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, which focuses on TikTok dancers who join a management company and its associated church. The film accuses Shin of running a cult via his talent management company 7M Films, as well as his church, Shekinah Church, where he serves as a pastor. Last year, 7M Films denied the allegations in the film and called the documentary a slanderous work of fiction and said the company was taking legal action. Earlier, we spoke with a former dancer from the documentary. Take a listen.
We're very happy. I mean, it's been a long time coming. And we hope that justice is served and that people responsible for hurting a lot of people, over the years end up in jail.
Now, an attorney representing plaintiffs who sued Shin sent KTLA a statement saying, in part, regarding this search warrant, we are gratified that the federal government is investigating Robert Shin and look forward to our clients and his victims receiving the justice they deserve. She said the trial is set to begin October 27th. And back here live again, you are looking at gate which was knocked down during this raid earlier this morning. Again, several vehicles left the property. We haven't seen much activity since. At this point, it's not clear how many people were arrested. We have reached out to the FBI for comment and more information, and we'll let you know when we hear back. For now, reporting live in Tahunga, Kimberly Chang, KTLA 5 News.
Yeah, that was weird. I highly recommend that documentary, by the way. The other one, there's another documentary I just watched on Netflix. It was about the Amy Bradley case. That one was interesting too. Although I don't, that was the one where the girl went missing from a cruise ship. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Amy Bradley? I remember hearing about it years ago. And then they just came out with this documentary on Netflix, so it's all over social media again. But I think she might have just fallen off the balcony, guys. I think this family wants that not to be true, but I think she might have just fallen off the balcony. I'm not sure. They're like, oh, but she was a good swimmer. Yeah, they were on the 8th story, though. They were on, their room number was like 85 something. So they were 8 stories up. And if you hit the water at 8 stories up, it doesn't matter if you're a good swimmer, is what I'm saying. So, all right. So Devil's Den killings. They caught the guy. Did you guys hear about this? It happened, actually. I was in Tennessee when this happened. So I haven't covered it here yet. I was in Tennessee and I was getting text about it as the news was coming out. So I know there's people who want to hear about this, but this family was walking on this trail in it's Devil's Den State Park. I think it was a state park. I don't think it was a national park. I think it was a state park. And this guy attacked the dad And the mom took the kids and brought the kids away, like got the kids out of there, and then went back to try to help her husband, and she ended up getting killed too. So these two kids basically watched their parents die, but they caught the guy. So let's see.
Two children are there. They advised that their parents were assaulted. The parents are missing.
A couple killed while hiking with their young daughters.
So we found the victims down here.
Tonight, 5 News has team coverage as we learn more about the lives lost and track the urgent search for a suspect.
Oh. Apparently, I have not put an updated. They ended up catching the guy. This is before that, but we'll see what happened, and then I'll find. While this is playing, I'll find the update. The guy is crazy looking.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Spencer.
And I'm Morgan Wrigley. We have new information from state police tonight about that deadly attack at Devil's Den State Park.
5 News reporter Bo Russell has been at Devil's Den all weekend following the investigation. He joins us live to break down what state police are saying as they continue to work to track down a suspect.
Hey, Lauren. Hey, Morgan. Yeah, well, we're learning today that 2 victims have been identified as Clinton and Kristen Brink. We now know from law enforcement that they were on a hike with their 2 daughters, age 7 and 9, at the time of the attack. Law enforcement is letting us know that those 2 children are safe and with family. Now, again, yesterday, Arkansas State Police received a call around 2:30 in the afternoon, and that's really all we knew at that time. I made it over here.
Same, Metro Churchill, because when I first heard about this, that's exactly where I thought it happened. I had no idea that there was another place called Devil's Den. I really didn't. That's exactly was my first thoughts as well.
On the ground around 4:30 and saw that there was a large law enforcement present. They weren't really giving much information yesterday. Still not a lot today, other than as I just said, we have identified those 2 victims. Law enforcement are still here canvassing the area. They're all around the trails, which are all closed off. So they're still doing a pretty thorough sweep of the area, which is difficult because, you know, the terrain is steep and it's a large area of ground to cover. Now, I did talk to park rangers. They told me that the description of the suspect was taken from witness statements, not from photos or videos. So what else was given in those witness statements, we don't know as of yet, but we'll be sure to update you when we learn more about that. Park rangers also told me that they spoke with campers who are staying in the area still to kind of get them up to date and explain what's going on, giving them the chance to leave if that's what they want to do. However, the park visitors and campers we spoke with today didn't seem too fazed.
Not really, because I mean, it's not like we're gonna go to the trails anyway. We wanted to swim in here, but they told us you cannot swim there, so we just like taking a look at everything. That's it. They said that they're still under investigation, and
Are they just finding random people on the side of the road to interview now? Why are we interviewing this guy? He doesn't know anything. He didn't know what happened. He was there to swim in the swimming hole with his family. Why are we interviewing him, News?
Open the park tomorrow or something. But he said like a double murder happened.
Now, Arkansas State Police is asking anybody who was here on Saturday and may have been taking pictures or videos, maybe had a GoPro that was running, or even a dash cam, if they could go through their footage and see if anything out of the ordinary sticks out. If you do happen to see anything, Arkansas State Police Troop L is asking you to send it their way. In Devil's Den, live in Devil's Den, covering news where you live, I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
Thank you, Bo. Arkansas State Police have officially identified the victims who lost their lives in the attack as 43-year-old Clinton David Brink and 41-year-old Kristen Amanda Brink. Their husband and wife, and had recently moved to Northwest Arkansas from out of state with their 2 young daughters. The girls, ages 7 and 9, are both safe with family now and were not hurt in the attack.
Here's another look at the information we know about the suspect. State police updated their description of him today. They believe he was wearing a long-sleeve shirt with the sleeves rolled up instead of a tank top as initially reported. He's described as a white man with a medium build, wearing dark pants, a dark ball cap, sunglasses, and fingerless gloves. Investigators also say he was driving towards the park exit in a black 4-door sedan, possibly.
Everybody get out your how to get away with crime notebook. If you're going to wear gloves during a crime, fingerless gloves are not the type that you want. Just saying.
A Mazda with a license plate covered in electrical or duct tape. State police say that car may have traveled on State Highway 170 or State Highway 220 near the park. To add some context, State Highway 170 runs north out of Devil's Den and connects to I-49 in West Fork. 220 goes from the park through Crawford County and connects with Highway 59 in Cedarville. And while the search continues, 5 News anchor Darren Bobb takes a look back at how this all started.
The first call came into the Washington County EMS a little before 2:30.
Medic Corps, circular first responders, stage for police, assault, possible stabbing, Devil's Den State Park.
It was only a few minutes before a swarm of law enforcement officers made it to Devil's Den. That's when visitors who were at the park became a little concerned.
So we've been here all day. We're from Texas, so we came in for the weekend, and we came up here and there are cop cars all around there, and we're a little concerned, and they said that they couldn't say anything, but that everything was closed for an emergency.
Then the search was on for a suspect.
Suspect is going to be a white male wearing black gloves, sunglasses, a dark colored pants, and a dark colored tank top. He took off in a small black sports car, was taped over plates, direction of travel, went across the bridge leaving Devil's Den and stayed on the highway.
We're all sweeping the trail, me and I've got a maintenance person with me, interpreters with first aid kits trying to locate the family.
Less than an hour into the search,
Hear yells calling for help. We're hiking down.
10-4, we're hearing them too towards the end of the lower part of the Devil's Den Trail.
by the time police got to where they heard those screams, it was too late.
Trying to relay to the office. So we found the victims down here. They're on the lower Devil's Den Trail. I've got two bodies.
5 News first responded to a tip about that large police presence and an investigation at Devil's Den around 4:30. When our reporter got there, troopers would not allow him into the park and did not provide information. At 8:40, 6 hours after the first call, state police released a statement about a manhunt for the suspect who may still be in the area. That set off a firestorm of social media posts, especially from
News? Really? You interviewed that dude that knew nothing, but you're not going to read the report that they put out or the press release? What are you doing? It says on Saturday, July 26, 2025, about 2:40 p.m., Arkansas State Police was notified of a double homicide at Devil's Den State Park in Washington County. A 43-year-old man and a 41-year-old woman were found dead walking on a walking trail. ASP's Criminal Investigation Division is handling the suspected homicide. The suspect in their deaths is an unknown white male wearing dark shorts, dark tank top, and weightlifting-type gloves. He was seen driving towards a park exit in a black 4-door sedan. The suspect's vehicle may be a Mazda with a license plate covered by electrical duct tape. It may have been traveling on State Highway 170 or State Highway 220 near the park. A large law enforcement presence remains at the park. The investigation is ongoing. ASP is pursuing all leads to apprehend the suspect. The deceased will be transported to the Arkansas State Crime Lab, where manner and cause of death will be determined. If anybody has information, you should call that number.
That set off a firestorm of social media posts, especially from those who were in the park at the time, wondering why it took so long to get any official information out. Arkansas State Police responded to those concerns, saying the location is in a remote rural part of Arkansas. It took time for our special agents to arrive on scene, locate witnesses, and collaborate information so we could release the appropriate information. Covering news where you live, I'm Darren Bobb, 5 News.
Well, Devil's Den's website says all the trails are closed until further notice, though police are still sweeping the area and hope to have them open soon. And the park superintendent tells us campers were all informed about what happened and given the choice to stay or leave. We spoke on the phone with one out-of-state visitor who was hiking in the park just about an hour after the attack happened. And she says if she had known at the time what was going on, she would have never continued hiking on the trails.
Yeah,
There were police cars everywhere. We weren't really sure what was going on. We asked the 3 different park rangers if we were safe and if we needed to be worried about anything. And 2 of them not only told us we were safe, but directed us to different trails to continue hiking. Come to find out, as we were listening to the latest news segment that you guys posted, that all the trails are closed now and that they've shut down the park. It's just concerning that we were directed to keep hiking and told it was safe right after 2 people were murdered and during an active manhunt. It's just crazy they let us continue hiking even though they hadn't found the guy.
That is kind of crazy. Why would you not tell those people, no, go home? Like, not only for their safety, but what if there's evidence dropped that they're contaminating a crime scene? What are you doing just letting people wander around in those woods? Also, imagine if you're camping at this state park. And I imagine the camping area isn't right where I don't know how it's set up. I haven't looked at the map see, this is why I like my maps. I haven't looked at the map of the park. But imagine you're camping in the area. Maybe it's a couple of miles away and they say, hey, there was 2 people murdered over there. Just letting you know, do you want to stay in your very secure tent, I assume, out in the woods, or do you want to leave? Who is staying? Who would stay there? You haven't caught the guy yet? No, I'm leaving. Goodbye. I don't know. Would any of you stay? I wouldn't stay.
The secretary who oversees the state park system released this statement this afternoon reacting to the tragedy, saying the safety of the park's visitors and staff are their top priority right now.
Sound like it.
Closely with state police and other law enforcement agencies in investigating the deadly attack. We'll continue following updates on the investigation around the clock and bring you any developments as they come into our newsroom on 5 News Plus. You can download 5 News Plus for free for your smart TV. Just text the word plus to that number right there at the bottom of your screen, 479-785-5000. We'll text you right back with all the details on how to download it today.
Yeah, Vicky P's like, hell no. Hell no. No, I would not be staying either. Oh, Jonathan P. was hoping for a map. Maybe I can find a map. Let me play this next one. This is an updated one.
All throughout the day, that later today in court, the man accused of killing an Arkansas couple who was on a hiking trail in front of their children is expected to appear in court. And now, just moments ago, we did receive video of his arrest at a salon. Take a look. This is from that beauty salon and a camera showing them taking the bib, I guess, so to speak, off of him after he got part of a haircut prior to his arrest. Now, the teacher, who authorities say admitted to fatally stabbing the couple he didn't know who were hiking with their 2 children in an Arkansas state park, will have his first court appearance later on today. Andrew James McGann, 28 years old, who you see right there in that video, is charged with 2 counts of capital murder in the killing Saturday of Clinton David Brink and Kristen Amanda Brink. He's being held without bond and is expected to appear at the Washington County Detention Center. Again, that court hearing scheduled for a short time from now. Arkansas State Police Colonel Mike Hagar saying that authorities are still trying to determine a motive for the attack, which happened at Devil's Den. That is a 2,500-acre state park near West Fork, about 140 miles northwest of Little Rock, the state's capital. Its trails have been closed to the public since the attack on Saturday. State police arrested McGann Wednesday at that barbershop over in Springdale, which is about 30 miles north of the park. That's according to officials who held a news conference that we did play for you a bit earlier on today. Washington County Prosecutor Brandon Carter said he did not know if McGann has a lawyer or will need a public defender. The Associated Press leaving messages at numbers listed for McGann, who as of right now appears to have no criminal record. Officials said the husband was stabbed first about a half mile into the park.
At those evil eyes. Holy cow. Yeah, he was a teacher. He was a 3rd grade teacher. Imagine this dude teaching your 3rd grader. I can't even. I mean, look at him. I like the mid haircut look too. Also, if you're if you just murdered 2 people on a trail, why would you have that look on your face during the photo? That just makes you look guilty. Do you not realize you have evil-looking eyes?
Mother ushered her children to safety before returning to help her husband. So new details here coming out as we learn she was also stabbed to death. Authorities have not said if the girls, ages 7 and 9, witnessed both their parents being killed. They were not hurt and are being cared for by family members. McGann was cooperative, we're told, during the arrest and admitted to killing the couple soon after. Police also matched his DNA to blood that was found at the crime scene. The case distressing even to police, who said during that news conference, quote, "In my 27 years that I've been with state police, this is probably one of the most heinous that we've had, especially the aspect of just how random it was." McGann was arrested after a 5-day search, and investigators saying that they received hundreds of tips. Again, this is video of that arrest here just coming into our newsroom as he was getting a haircut. The state police collected photos and videos from other hikers who did not witness the attack, but were on the trails at around the same time. Police also releasing a composite sketch and a photo that showed a person of interest from behind. The police then narrowed down the suspect's vehicle, which had tape over the license plate, using surveillance footage from homes and businesses that were located nearby. Within an hour of McGann being identified as a suspect, he was caught at that barber shop. Carter indicated the state would give a jury the option to sentence McGann to the death penalty. Again, this is video here just coming in, but I also want to pop up this post from the New York Post as they actually spoke with the hairstylist who was doing his hair during the arrest. She reveals the, quote, eerie encounter with the Devil's Den murder suspect moments before he was arrested mid-haircut, saying, quote, he looked soulless. Again, his court appearance is slated for later on today. If cameras are allowed inside, we'll bring that to you here, as we always do, on Live Now from Fox.
Wow. All right. The people request maps. The people get maps. So it looks like the hiking trails were, whoa. Here we go. We're up here. Devil's Den Trail. He was on lower Devil's Den Trail. So it looks like that's this trail here. I would guess that this is lower Devil's Den Trail and this is upper Devil's Den Trail. They're not labeled, so I don't know. And it looks like the camping areas, because that's, I think, what the question with the map was about, was the camping areas. It looks like there's a camping area here, which is the closest one, but then there's several camping areas down here. There's three or four of them down here, pretty far away, it looks like, but still, that's way too close for comfort. If I'm in a tent or an RV or something that far away from where 2 people were stabbed to death and you haven't caught he wasn't caught for a couple of days, right? That's too close. And by the way, even if that one lady who said she was hiking was on like a different trail, that doesn't mean that the person did not leave. Like, they thought they saw him get in a car and leave, but that could be wrong. And there could have been evidence dropped on any of these trails. And I mean, if we go to the satellite view, look at all these woods. There could have been evidence dropped anywhere in here and they would have never known. It looks pretty. It does look pretty. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. It's my kind of state park. Anyway, they caught the guy, so there's that. Yeah, it looked like most of those camping trails were pretty far away, or most of those camping sites were pretty far away. All right, next story. When this was first sent to me, I covered that case in Danielsville, Georgia. And somebody sent me this article, and I thought, when I read it really quick, I thought it was Danielsville. This is Danville, different state. But apparently somebody set a councilman on fire, and after dealing with those councilmen, by the way, after dealing with those councilmen in Danielsville, I thought to myself, well, I can see how that happened. It's a different place.
A brutal attack on a city councilman on the south side. Police say Councilman Lee Vogler was doused in gasoline and then set on fire. We have live team coverage on these breaking developments.
Yeah, we begin with ABC 13's Charities Hoffman, who's live outside the scene in Danville on Main Street.
Yes, that attack happened right here outside of Lee Vogler's private office here at Showcase Magazine. And Danville police say that they usually do not name victims in cases like this, but because Lee Vogler is an elected official and a huge part of the community, they did. Now, Danville police say that this happened at around 11:30 this morning on the 700 block of Main Street. They say the suspect, Shotzi Buck Hayes, confronted Vogler at his office and doused him with gasoline, and he ended up setting him on fire outside. Hayes left the scene. However, he was later found and arrested by police not too far away. Now, we're not sure how serious Vogler's injuries are right now, but he was airlifted to a burn unit in UNC Chapel Hill and has been treated there. As for the suspects, he is being charged with attempted first-degree murder and malicious wounding. Live in Danville, Charities Hoffman, ABC 13 News.
And Vogler has had a big impact on the River City for years. In fact, he grew up in Danville.
ABC 13's Sarah Weitzman joins us live with what he means to the area.
Lee Vogler has served on city council since 2012. He was actually the youngest to ever be elected at just 24 years of age. He is the chair of the Regional Industrial Facility Authority and is managing partner at Andrew Brooks Media Group. Vogler also works at Showcase Magazine, where the attack happened earlier today. A worker at a neighboring business tells me he was surprised to learn it was a councilman who was attacked.
It was definitely very shocking. I can definitely say for a lot of people here, we actually had close ties with him and the family.
And the way that it ended up happening didn't even get brought.
Vogler's colleagues, both in his business life and with the city, are calling on the community to keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And if you know Lee Vogler, you know he calls this place, Danville, the comeback city, and himself the comeback kid, as a testament to the resilience and utter devotion he has for here. Reporting live in Danville, Sarah Weitzman, ABC 13 News.
Now, this horrific attack is shaking communities across the state and the nation.
ABC 13's Hayden Robertson is live here in the studio with us with reaction that's pouring in on social media and from one of Vogler's friends in Lynchburg.
Dana Noreen here in the Commonwealth. Governor Glenn Youngkin took to X about what has happened. He wrote, quote, "Our prayers go out to Danville City Councilman Lee Vogler, who was violently attacked at his workplace earlier today. We pray for a swift recovery for Lee and peace beyond the entire Danville community." Now, Democratic governor candidate and former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger also took to X saying, quote, "I'm horrified by today's attack against a..."
I think Abigail Spanberger is a great name, by the way. I love it.
Sitting public servant in Danville. Adam and I are praying for Councilman Lee Vogler, his family, and the entire Danville community. And Republican candidate for governor Winsome Sears said, "Please join me in praying for Councilman Lee Vogler and for his family. We stand with Danville and support a full investigation into this attack." I also spoke to Lynchburg City Councilman Chris Feraldi. Feraldi and Vogler have been friends for a while now. Feraldi tells me he sees Vogler as a mentor since they both serve on city councils in their areas. Feraldi tells me this whole incident has him shaken up.
Barbaric, shocking, horrific, evil. It's really hard to put words around it, to give some sense of what happened today. And man, I'm just praying more than anything else he and his family are okay.
Feraldi says he and Vogler support each other and always talk different ideas to help better their communities. Feraldi also tells me he hopes the suspect, Shotzi Michael Buck Hayes, is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Back to you.
Danville Mayor Alonzo Jones put out a statement about the attack. It reads in part, "Our council is close. We've worked through challenges together, and now we face this heartbreak together. Please continue to pray for Lee and his family."
Yeah.
And we have continuing.
Okay. We're going to end with Polk County because I love Polk County. And this is about a fraud ring. There's nobody dead. Chief Judd is always entertaining. We will end with Grady Judd talking about a fraud ring.
You know, this was a very interesting investigation that, quite frankly, started relatively simple. It started when an online banking detective, Synchrony, came to Polk County because all of a sudden he noticed that there's a new account that pops up, and immediately $250,000 are placed in this account. So he begins an investigation on behalf of the bank, does a remarkable job, and then notifies the sheriff's office. When he notified the sheriff's office, we determined that there, and I'll give you details in a minute, but a guy by the name of Navarez was the one that opened this account. And then from that, the investigations went on, and we determined, my goodness, it's bigger and it's bigger and it's bigger. Ultimately, we served 18 search warrants with the help of and the direction of our statewide prosecutor. We also obtained subpoenas from several banks. And here's what we know. Let me give you the lineage, okay? This Antonio Penn, all right?
By the way, Grady Judd, if you're watching this and you ever need somebody on your staff to create your poster boards, like if that job becomes available and you need somebody, please call me. I will move immediately to your county in Florida and become that person for you, because I think that would be the best job in the world. I love it.
Was the guy that was stealing the data from the M&T Bank, which is a bank group out of the Northeast United States. But his assignment at the bank didn't allow him access. He was a 5-year employee. So what did he do? He went to 2 of his associates, Barbara Frazee and Kamala Schaefer. Both of them had 35 plus years. And they were either giving him access to the bank data or giving him the code so that he could access the bank data. Then what he would do is, once he obtained this data, and I'll go into detail of that later on, he would send it to, we call him Oki Akushi, and Oki Akushi then would put it online with Telegram. When it went online with Telegram, people from around the world would purchase this information, and then subsequently they could set up accounts. All of the people we're talking about today, other than the tellers that provided access, had multiple.
He was just selling people's banking information on the dark web? Holy cow. Okay.
Accounts. Some of them,
I guess
up to
that's something
20
I have to worry about now, is somebody that works at my bank selling my account numbers to the dark web.
30 accounts. And then they would buy the data offline and steal from the people. So what did General Uthmeier's team stop with our detectives and FDLE's detectives and other law enforcement agencies? What we stopped was an $8.8 million fraud and theft ring. Then Rashodo Durant there, he would also buy data, and Hassan Phillips, Michael Navarez, and Kevin Clayton, wouldn't you know it, he's here illegally, were 3 of the players. They were the 3 players we identified. And then they would push money back upstream. But understand, Durant, Phillips, Navarez, and Clayton, who we're going to talk more about in a few minutes, are only 4 of what we know of hundreds of people that stole data. The irony of it is Antonio Penn and Oki, even though they masterminded the theft of all of this money through wire transfers, they only profited about $70,000 or $80,000, and they're all broke today.
Only $80,000. Oh, is that it? I think it is funny that they're all broke today. People people who don't know how to handle that kind of money always end up broke. It's crazy. If somebody gave me $80,000 tomorrow, I would not be broke in a year or 2 years or 3 years. Like, there's a way to invest that where it's a nice little cushion, you know what I'm saying?
So when I introduce you to these folks, it's important that you know that there's always some color to them. Antonio knew Okie because they played college football together.
Oh gosh, they're
at West Virginia.
College graduates. Great.
That's where they met. All of our associates knew each other. Antonio Penn liked to be known as Showtime Penn. He targeted the elderly. He called them dead-end accounts.
Wow.
And the general's going to speak more about that in a minute. But Okie, now Penn's in Maryland, Okie's in Missouri. He is the one that actually sold online the account data. And then from there, we know that none of this would have happened if Barbara and Kamala didn't provide access
Barbara
to Penn.
and Kamala, what are you doing?
These guys understand what's interesting about them is Hassan Phillips met Durant playing games online, computer games. He bought the data. All of them bought data. All of these had multiple accounts. This guy claimed to, at one time, work legitimately as a solar power panel retailer. Michael Navarez worked for Ring Power in Lakeland. Durant confessed. When we told him he was charged with RICO, he says, hey, I thought...
Let me ask you a question. Take a look at this guy's face and let me know, would you buy solar panels from him? I wouldn't. Yeah, no.
Only rappers got charged with RICO. Duh. And at the end of the day, the important part is that because of the great work of our detectives and the statewide prosecutor, this entire complicated ring was brought down. So we have focused from Missouri to the northeast to Maryland to Florida. There are still hundreds of suspects out there that are not in custody that we'd love to have in custody. So with that, I want to close with a statement about Telegram. This went from Teller to Telegram. Telegram is a platform that is operated out of Dubai. The CEO, Pavel Durov, was arrested in 2024 by France because he was involved in criminal enterprises online. Up until that time, they would not release any subscriber data at all, but a simple arrest by France got them to start to cooperate. But they market online that there's end-to-end encryption, and they call it a secret chat feature. That's why all of this could take place. New York Times calls Telegram the playground of criminals. So you have Telegram and Telecrook, and now we're telling everybody there's Telejail in Polk County. So these Maryland, West Virginia, Missouri people went from Telegram, Telecrook to Telejail. It was their choice.
Apparently my lights just went out. Let's fix that real quick. Did they mention what bank that was? If they did, I missed it. I'm just wondering if I have an account with Truist. Just wondering if I have an account with them. All right, I'm going to send you guys over to Kitchen Court Chats. If you could at least pop in and say hi, hit the like button. I would appreciate that. She is good people. And that's it for now. Keep in mind, please subscribe anyway. But if you haven't hit the notification bell, please do that, because I know Kfar and I are planning on doing an extra stream sometime this week, but we haven't figured out exactly when yet. It might be tomorrow, it might be Tuesday. It might be 2 extra streams. I don't know. But we are planning on trying to burn through. We have so many videos to go through, and we just can't. We talk too much is the problem. We talk too much, and we can't get through that many on a given show in 2 hours. So if you hit the notification bell, we're going to have some extra shows this week, at least 1 extra. Maybe 2 if the whole Magoo trial thing that Kfar was talking about on Friday, that might happen this week along with an extra booze and body cams, but it'll definitely be at 8 o'clock, but I'm not sure what day yet. Other than that, I will see you over in Court Kitchen chat here in just a minute. Bye, guys. See you Wednesday for sure, but probably before that. Bye.